Hey there, Super Potters. His name is Aaron, and he lost the instruction manual and doesn't remember how to turn it back on.
His name's Tommy, the Prince of all Saiyans.
And this is the SuperPod Saga. That's right, SuperPod Saga. That's what you're listening to. You're hearing our voices straight from our microphones. Welcome. If this is
straight out of fuck, what's the Saiyan planet called? Straight out of Saiyan. I don't know.
I don't know anything about. I've never watched a Dragon Ball. So I'm not the man for that. But you're here for the men of video games, and that's what we are. If this is your first time listening, Aaron and I bring a different video game topic to the table to talk about, and then we talk about it. We have a guest most of the time, and that's true today as well. We're just gonna keep talking. I hope that's okay.
Talk away.
We'll phase him out slowly.
And you heard our guest there. His name is Dave from the Remember 64 podcast. Hi, Dave.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello. How are you? Happy to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
That afternoon coffee is really kicking in now, huh?
It's kicking in, and I've had 2 sips, and it's only an espresso, too, so it's really small, and yet here we go.
It went straight to the brain.
Straight to the brain, yeah.
Dome shot.
Why don't you tell the listeners at home about yourself, about your podcast, and what video games you like?
Well, Remember 64 is just an adventure through the way I write on some of the social media platforms is the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between of the titles of the Nintendo 64. So the goal is to somehow survive long enough to get through the entire library of that console, nice. which compared to other consoles actually doesn't have as many games. It's a few hundred, which is not nothing, but some consoles have 1,000. Some of them have 600. Some of them have 500. So hopefully I survive long enough. But the idea is to just pick games as we go. It's not chronological. It's not, hey, this had an anniversary this month. Sometimes we try and match that stuff up, but it is what it is. We just kind of pick a game here and there. It's myself and a number of different guests. I would say at least half the episodes are someone new or someone different or someone that's returning. And I typically ask the guest, hey, what game tickles your fancy? Let's pick that. Most of the time, despite me being the person who started this Nintendo 64 podcast, most of these games that we've done so far, which has been about 30 something at this point. I should know that, and I don't. That's great. And most of them I had not played before because I think like a lot of people that I know of anyway, the N64 was very much Mario Kart, Mario Party, Zelda, especially the ones where you get together with 3 other friends or family and stuff. That's really where a lot of that experience was. So yeah, there's been a whole lot of single player games or, sort of ones that fell through the cracks when you're around that age when the console came out. Because for me, I was only about 10 years old when that came out. So around that time, my interest wasn't Mission Impossible, and it wasn't anything too serious. It was, I want to play Mario Party with my family and friends. So it's been fun to go through all that. And that's basically the show. We talk a little bit about the history of the development of that particular game. And then it is, half hour to 45-minute sort of chat about replaying the game, our memories of it if we've played it before. And then we move on to the next episode. So that's Remember 64. Yeah. And you also asked what my favorite kind of games are, or my kind of games that I play and enjoy. I've been called out recently on my own podcast.
Ooh. Oh no!
Yeah. So if anyone hasn't listened yet, or did point it out and has heard it, but somewhat recently, I think it was in October and September we were playing through Paper Mario, which I had very little experience with. This is the first Paper Mario, the one that came out for the 64, and in the middle of that podcast, I was called out that the 64 is not my favorite console. And I'm the guy who started that Nintendo 64 podcast. So, yeah, that was interesting to be called out in that way. But really what it is it's sort of another sort of description of the show itself. But basically, like, I wanted to explore more of this console and of these games. Because to me, that generation of gaming, whether it's that or the PlayStation, or even somewhat going into the Dreamcast, but that's a little bit later. But, late 90s, mid to late 90s gaming to me is pretty awkward, I think it's a
Yes.
really
Mhm.
awkward
Yes.
time for growth and ideas, really the real first 3D taste that you had in gaming. And, you know, because I didn't experience a ton of the 64, now that I realized that as I got older, I was like, you know what, let's do it. So I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying going through the library, but I got to tell you, some of these games, man, whew, not
I'm
not
sure.
what you want to play.
Where can people find the podcast if they want to listen to it?
Right across the board, like anybody else that has a show out there, you can find it across all the podcast platforms. Remember 64. Social media will be at Remember 64 Show. I have that name pretty much across the board on any platform you can think of. I think aside from Facebook, because I haven't had Facebook in like 4 years. So that's the only place I'm not. And if you want to find some YouTube videos, it's Remember 64, because without the dash, apparently it was taken. I don't know. But there's some gameplay videos that I've had of some of the games that I've been playing. If I have a video version of the chat portion of each episode, I will put that up as well. So you can look at my ugly face while I talk about these games that I stink at as well, if you want. So that's pretty much it. That's how it goes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
Aaron,
yeah.
Aaron, where can the people find us?
If they need to find the creamed corn of podcasts that is us,
So good.
you can go to superpodsaga.com. Your previous episodes, blog. You can leave a review on the website, social medias. We do have a Facebook, even though, I mean, Facebook ain't what it used to be. That's for true. In our support page, because if you like the show and you want to help Tommy and I out, we would really appreciate it. Become a patron. Bonus
Yeah.
episodes, early
Early access.
Yep. I forgot the other stuff. SuperPodSaga.com.
Yeah, go find out for yourself.
Yep.
Figure it out.
Build it yourself. DIY.
Build it yourself.
Excellent. You guys want to know what we're going to talk about today?
I'm
Ooh,
dying to know.
intrigued.
Dying.
Yeah, as if we didn't pre-plan our answers or anything.
Never.
We're going to talk about our favorite locations from video games, the favorite places to be, to explore, to have fun in, and I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But first,
Oh, yeah.
before they hear from us, we're gonna read our D&T Q&A, the Discord and Twitter question and answer, because we ask the people on Discord and Twitter first to get their opinions, and we read it on the episode. That's the name of the segment.
That whole thing, yeah.
that whole smooth like butter thing right there.
Yep.
I'll start off with the Discord. Aaron asked, "What are some of your favorite locations in video games?" Real Dave Jackson said, "Central Yarnum in Bloodborne, great tutorial level, full of beasts, hunters, and the meanest NPCs who won't let you into their houses. Those cackling ladies make me laugh every time."
Cackling ladies, nice. Yeah, let's hop on over to T-Town. The Krusty Boys, or as their, like, I guess, name that you change, the part of the name that you change on Twitter, says "I say fuck." Their answer was huge on deserted bathrooms. Me too. That's my natural habitat. How'd you know?
I hear a bit of an echo. Is that where you are right now?
We always
It just
record from the
just feels comfortable, you know? It's just one of those places.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. Then I gotta
That's
go
it.
all the time.
all day, every day, people.
Nomad, the Retro Wildland, said on Discord, "Raccoon City from the Resident Evil games. The city itself was eventually overrun by the undead and met a grisly end, but I always appreciated the fact that the city itself became as much of a character as the ones we play as. We learn a bit about it in the first game, we're stuck in it in the second game, and part ways with it at the end of the third game. It contains countless stories of survival and hope, and I always appreciated that." Excellent review.
Yeah, that's great.
That is cool.
I wholeheartedly agree. RE games are not like top of my list kind of thing of what I love, but those early ones I have the most experience with, and especially 2, and 100%. I'm totally agree.
Great answer. Here on over T-ville, we've got Michael Conde. I apologize. At Brainiac345, we'll go with that. He says, "Rogueport from Paper Mario Thousand Year Door holds a lot of memories for me."
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes. Great hub world.
Yep. To quote Family Feud, Great answer.
Great answer. Great answer.
Great answer.
Thrak says easily the Federal Bureau of Control.
Ooh,
That is a good
yes.
one. Excellent.
Love that. Love that.
I haven't played it.
Oh my
It's
god,
so
it's so
good.
good. It's so good. Oh my god.
I'm
it's so
afraid
good.
of scary
So good.
games, and I still managed to play the whole thing.
I think it's trippy. I wouldn't call it necessarily scary. I mean, I think it seems like, you know, the latest Alan Wake, which I have not played yet, is definitely on the horror and scary side. I would say Control has elements of
It's
that,
got
but
creepy vibes.
yeah, it's creepy vibes. It's very sci-fi, much more
Yeah,
sci-fi
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
Okay.
it just plays really well on top of
Yeah.
everything else. It just is really, really fun. I played that a couple years after it came out, and with all the DLC and everything, I couldn't put it
Ooh.
down. I loved it. I loved it.
Nice. I've been meaning to buy that when it goes on sale. The Ultimate Edition, though, is the one I want to get because it comes with like the DLC and
Yep.
the actual Series X and S version or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Popping back on over to Twitter, we've got the same guy, Michael Condi at Brainiac345. He says, "Here's another one for you, Arkham City." That's great. That's such a good answer because they fucking packed that city full of cool details.
Well, yeah, and also Arkham, Arkham
Asylum.
City, there's Arkham Asylum. There's, you know, everything that's sort of like around that idea, not even necessarily
Yeah.
just that one game, right? Like you can kind of say that it's the entire city, but like Arkham City itself, they did something different and new at that time, and that was, god damn it, those games are so good.
Seriously, I need to go back and replay those.
Yeah, I replayed Asylum a couple years ago on its 10th or 11th anniversary or sort of thing. It sort of like sent me like a Steam reminder. Hey, you played this game 9 years ago or something like that. Man, I love those
They're
games
so
so
fun.
much. Oh my
So
god,
good.
they're so good. Yeah.
Exodiac says, probably seasonally biased, but the house in PT. One location so magnificently designed and crafted and delightfully terrifying.
That's a good answer. Hell
That
yeah,
is a good answer.
I like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
None of us
Never-
can play it, but
that's true. I mean, you
Yeah.
could. What was I saying? Oh yeah, unless you want to head to eBay and buy a PS4 that has PT on it for like, $150, $200, something like that.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if it's even higher than that.
yeah,
That's
I feel like it'd be
insane.
higher.
Yeah. I mean, either way.
I think
like-
you're wrong, Aaron. I think you're
I think
wrong.
I think what we've concluded is you are incorrect.
I think you're fucking stupid, Aaron. Shut the fuck up. Hey, Twitter. Holy shit. Well, let's go with the part after the ad. We'll do the whole Twitter handle. Kelly Knowles Art, because the other part is at kellyknowlesart.bsky.social, and that's way too long. I said it anyway, though, so it doesn't even matter. She says the secret aquarium in Mario 64 is so surreal and lovely. Emoji with hearts for eyes. The music, swimming inside a big tower. The view of the infinite blue sky out those huge windows. So simple, but so memorable. Oh my god,
Ooh,
yeah.
I like
That's,
that.
that's
That
so
one is.
good.
Yeah, that's a goodie.
Back on the D train, riding that D train. Chan said, definitely going with Anor Londo in Dark Souls.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. I like Anne Orlando.
Mm.
Before I got to Dark Souls, I thought it was a Star Wars place.
Oh, it 100% sounds like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see that. All right, choo choo, Twitter train. Let's see, at Evil Cowboy Music. She says, Golden Quay from Final Fantasy 15. I have not gotten that far. I played like 4 hours of that game, and I was like, whew, that's a lot of running. Ooh, boy, is that a lot of running.
Distorted Rules in the Discord group friend place said Novigrad in Witcher 3. I love the city architecture, the lore, the locations within the town, the quest lines in the city, and how massive it is. I always look forward to getting there whenever I replay the game.
I can vouch for him. He replays that game a lot. Not that it's a bad thing, though.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing at all. No. Hey, Twitter. At Gamer90S1992 or Drake is the Beast King. He says Spira from FF10. That's a damn good answer. Spira is super cool.
I'm so happy I picked the Discord because the names are easier. The Butcher 21 said, since Minecraft has improved over the years, I'd have to say way deep in the caves, especially where the warden can show up. It's so suspenseful and I love it.
I've never seen the Warden. Don't know what that is.
I haven't played Minecraft since it was it on browsers or its own little window thing before Microsoft bought it? That's the last time I played Minecraft. Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I'm old, yo.
We all are.
Oh boy, here's a long one. Wookie Dongle VR verdict, or at Wookie Dongle. He says, "Oh boy, I don't know what Dun Morogue, Lock Modan, and then Skellige. I know what's Skellige from. That's Witcher 3. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know where the first two are from, and I apologize. But those are good answers.
The last.
Oh, they're from World of Warcraft.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we were right.
Yeah. Yep.
The last answer in the Discord is Adam, Revival and Extinction. He says Kamurocho in Yakuza and how it develops throughout the different games and grows with Kiryu.
That's an awesome answer.
It's an awesome answer.
I especially like it in a. No, you're not in Kamurocho. In like a dragon, you're in a. I forget. Let's move on. Caw! I see the crow emoji that we, the winner of our Halloween 1v1. The caw! Let's go.
Is there any more on Twitter?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, that's it. We're done. We're done with the Q&A TNA.
Give me a caw.
Caw!
There we go. Dave?
Ah!
Let's go.
That was okay.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, join the Discord and you can have your answers read literally verbatim because we're going to do that until someone does something they're not supposed to.
Please, people, do something you're not supposed to.
But let's talk. Let's take our turn, right? Let's give people what they want, which is us three random schlubs talking about video games.
Schlub.
I'll take it. I've been called worse. I'll take it.
I've been gone for a couple weeks. Whose topic is this? Who starts? Is it me or you?
It's yours. Yeah, because I did addictive games, and then this one's yours.
Okay. So when thinking of locations, like my brain goes to my most played games, which we talk about all the time. So I tried to pick different ones from games that I played.
Me too.
Good. I'm glad.
Good answer.
I got a little mix of both actually. So there we go. Look at that. We're across the board. Look at
that. Yeah, that's really good. So the first one I'm going to talk about is from a game called Battlefield 4.
Oh, okay.
What people think about when they think of great locations in video games. The Shanghai map from the Siege of Shanghai multiplayer map is so good and like what I consider the pinnacle of Battlefield map design. So I'm going to try and paint a picture in your head. It's the city of Shanghai, right? So it's city-like, and there's a bay that's kind of like a U. At the bottom of the U is a big old tower, a giant tower, and the capture point, because it's capture point multiplayer, is at the very top of the tower. So if you want to go in there, you have to like get to the building, go in the elevator, wait to ride it all the way to the top, like 100 plus floors, and get there. And then there's combat taken out there. Down along the sides of the U are other capture point. There's like a city center or like a shopping center that has like different. The ceiling is glass, so you can shoot down from above to go inside, or you can go through the stores to actually get in there. It's all the capture points have like multiple levels of how to get there, how to get from one to another. It's just so well built, and there you wouldn't notice it because of all the chaos, but you can like go onto the streets and hit a button to prop up anti-tank things that like the tank driver would have to get out of their tank and go press the button. I just like being annoying like that. Just seeing this guy like,
that's cool.
Press this freaking button. The coolest feature of the map though is Battlefield 4 had this thing called Levolution, where you could drastically alter the map in the middle of a match. If someone with a tank went to the tower and shot out the support, the entire tower would collapse onto the rest of the map into the bay. So everyone on or in the building is instantly dead. And everyone in the map can look in, because it's the tallest tower in the thing, just collapses onto the ground. And then that capture point that was on the top of the ceiling is in the rubble in the bay.
That's super fucking cool.
Oh, that's
so super cool.
Man, I wish I played this game.
It's and yeah, it's just it was the map that I played the most of because I just enjoyed going around this Shanghai area and doing things in Battlefield.
You know what? The Battlefield games have been. I mean, I played a lot of. I think was it still called 2 and 3, or did they have different names at that time? I think they just went by simple numbers at that. I played those quite a bit. I always enjoyed these large maps that you could, really team based kind of large maps like that. And it looks like I stopped playing these games just in time for me to have a chance to knock down a giant tower, which I'm very sad about.
I'm looking at a screenshot of the game. I think it's a screenshot from the game, and it's a dude on a jet ski in the bay, kind of outside of the big tower, and like that's cool. He's getting shot at, and this is a dude
you
on
can
a
take jet skis across the bay.
God damn it! That's
have a tower fall on you.
No two words in the English language make me harder than the words jet ski. That's awesome.
Writing that down.
We're gonna be in the middle of an episode. You'll just be like, jet ski.
You're gonna be at a very important. You're giving a speech.
My speaking of things that make me very hard, the first one I've written down, one that I don't think anybody would expect, but it's Inaba from Persona 4. Man,
Persona 4.
Yeah, small town vibes. Surrounding Inaba are immaculate. Like growing up, I guess I didn't grow up in a town. I guess Chatsworth is like a village.
Village, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like
technically a village.
Yes, it's like 50 people or less, possibly less. But yeah, just walking around town and like watching people like walk up and down the street, checking out all the stores that are like closed for the season that open up later on, or like just hanging out with your friends, whether it's at like the ramen shop or going to Jeunesse, the new department store, just walking along and just taking in the fucking sights and shit after school. It's awesome. I'm gonna try to play through Persona 4. God damn it, I'm gonna do it after World of Horror, and I think that's it. Yeah.
I adore small town vibes. I love when a place has a small town in it.
Like the town you grew up in.
Yeah, like the town I grew up in. Like the Division announced that they're having like an extraction game, but it's based in Middle America in some small town. And just that, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted.
Yes, please.
And I always adore when developers, when they're making a town, they put a lot of like really small, intricate details into towns, as opposed to just putting, like building, space building, grass, tree, like the in Persona 4, and then even shit like the Yakuza series and stuff like that. You'll see like little posters on like telephone poles. You'll see like apartments above grocery stores and shit like that. Somebody's bike leaning up against a wall. There's just lots of really cool, dumb, small things that don't matter at all, but I find super fucking cool.
Well, yeah. I think part of why that's so great is, one, if you've grown up or at least been around towns like that a decent amount, or villages like that a decent amount growing up, whether it's now, when you were younger, whatever it might be, like those little details like that are easy to pass by if you're just some person driving through the town or something, right? But all those little things are what make those small towns and villages have extra character and everything. Because if you live in that village, let's say, that has less than 100 people in it, that bike belongs to one of your friends, or one of your mom's friends, kids, cousins, whatever, something like that. And that means something to someone. And then like when you go in a game and you see that kind of detail, which is just in the background and probably not, you can't really interact with it potentially, but it still is there. That belongs to someone, that means something to someone, and they went out of their way to create that. And that's awesome. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Now say
Dave?
something. Well, what were you saying, Aaron?
I was just gonna say, how about Dave?
Now say something else. Well,
something else well and good. So we just talked about all these small towns and the details I just mentioned and stuff like that. I'm going to start with this was further down my list. I don't have them like ranked or anything like that, but I was going to mention this later.
Fine.
But because we're going from small, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go for the largest thing on my list at the moment. And my it's I wrote down the world. Now, more specifically,
the Earth,
or, the universe. No, more specifically, how the world is recreated in Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why this is on my list, probably more specifically, it's more for I think it was AC2 where they were in Florence. Maybe it was Brotherhood. I don't remember which one. And I played through that game during like the Christmas break that year, like the year that it came out, and loved it. That's like, I haven't played a lot of the newer AC games, but those from 2 to Black Flag and stuff, that range of games I loved, was all over them, played every single one start to finish. But specifically in, I think it was 2, it was in Florence, the Duomo's there and all that kind of stuff. And then just by chance, about, I don't know, I want to say, 4 months prior to that, we went to Florence. My wife and her siblings, the 4 of us, went on a trip. We went to Florence, we went to Rome, and we just sort of went to a couple different cities in Italy for about, I think we were there for like 9 days or something like that. When I was playing that game, it's not to scale, but it's pretty close. And even at that time, what is that, 15 years ago now or something, 13 years ago when that game came out,
Yeah.
they did a pretty good job of recreating what that place is like, because I went down a street and I could almost tell you exactly where we stayed when we were in Florence. And
Oh, wow.
no one else that was there, none of the other 3 people I was with, could really understand how wowed I was by that. And that is the only time, and definitely the first time, that anything like that has happened to me, where I was just in awe of what these people created and how they recreated something like that. And I just, I walked down the cobblestone street in that area in the middle of Florence and went to our hostel, and I was like, I have been here before. Or sorry, I jumped on the building. Sorry, this is in game. I'm in game and I'm jumping on the buildings and I go, I feel like I've been here before. And I was like, I can't believe this. Like, this is just so cool. It's so awesome. And that's just one example, like they've done this countless times in all these games. Some of the newer ones, they have like those educational versions of the game where basically you just walk around and it gives you like the history of the buildings you're walking through and everything. I think that started in Origins potentially. That is some damn awesome, cool, impressive effort and just amazing development, I think. So
Yeah.
yes, it's the world, but it's also the way that it's represented in games like this, because, they take place hundreds of years ago or whatever it is, depending on which one you're playing. And those details will always be impressive to me, whether the game is your cup of tea or not. The fact that that is even possible, and the fact that they go through that kind of effort to make it that real, I love it. So that's why that's on my list. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because most people wouldn't know what that area looks like besides pictures and videos. So like they could literally put whatever and be like, yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like. But for them to actually take the time and effort to make it as realistic as possible is excellent. It's great.
Yeah, because around the Duomo in Florence, more specifically, it kind of like there's no vehicles. You can only walk around there. And it kind of like it's just like a circle area where it's all like, shops for coffee and memorabilia and things like that and whatever. And then it just kind of branches out from the circle, almost like it would be a roundabout, like a giant roundabout in a city, but just for pedestrian traffic. And one of those streets is where we stayed. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. This is so great. So
That's rad as hell. I wonder how they I can only imagine how much time it takes to like map out an entire fucking city, or I guess nation. I don't know, like what you would count. I guess, it would be just a big ass city. I wonder how much time it took to like map the whole motherfucker out and then make it in a game. And like,
yeah,
Video games are tough, man.
I'm just like coming from this is coming from a motherfucker who can barely stand to make like a house in Minecraft. Like, I'll just get bored after like maybe making the doorway. I'll be like, oh well, it's time to blow shit up.
All right, boys, get the axe.
I did it. I beat Minecraft.
No, never.
Never.
That is awesome though. Yeah.
Dave, you influenced me because you unlocked thoughts in my brain of a game that I didn't even have written down, but now I have to talk about it.
Ooh, okay.
I want to talk about Tassing from Pentiment.
Oh,
Talk about a recreation of an area in the past. It's in southern Bavaria or northern Bavaria, which is southern Germany, modern day Germany. But the way that it was just recreated from like the 16th century, so the mid 1500s, like it just feels like you're actually there, or I assume what it would be like to actually be there. Like how it's laid out, how it's got an abbey that basically is the quote unquote government because the religion rules everything back then, and and how all the different people around have opinions on things, and they're just doing their jobs. Like, you never think about how back then people just did their jobs and then went home, or sometimes their job was at their home if they were a farmer or a sewer or a blacksmith or whatever. Like, it was just being in that time period, in that area. I was like, this is the best thing in the world. I want to spend all my time here. But seeing it in the style that it was in too, while still keeping that feeling of being in that area, was also impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can't imagine living in those times, though, because I know I would say some really out-of-turn shit and get burned to death. I would say, like, oh, fuck yeah, or something stupid, and they'd be like, witch! Witch!
Get the steak!
I mean, not that, like, if I were from that time, I'd be saying fuck, because, like, I doubt, like, in Game of Thrones, they say fuck and shit like that, but I doubt they said fuck back then. They probably said, like,
They
I don't know.
Spoke Bavarian or whatever language it was.
Whatever that is, yeah.
Give me a Bavarian cream donut or whatever the fuck they say. I don't know.
I remember when I was playing it, it was like the smallest detail. One of the characters is sending a letter to another character about what life is like there. And I was like, wait, they had mail in the 1500s? How would you even send a letter? Like, the person would have to travel on horse so far. And so I just went on a Wikipedia rabbit hole of how postal systems worked in the 1500s.
That's just education right there. That's all that is. That's great.
God, that would be the worst fucking job on the planet, being a mailman back then. You have to drive. Well, not drive. You have to walk or ride so far, and there's no house numbers, so you have to probably knock on every door. Or I guess they probably just went to like a post office. No, I don't know. That sounds awful. Well, speaking of awful, what?
Actually, I remembered now. The rich people would hire people to send the letters for them, like freelance people. They just find someone and be like, "Hey, do you want to deliver this letter for me? I'll pay you."
Okay, so they didn't have like an actual dedicated postal worker. Like if you wanted to deliver a message, you would either bring it to the person. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Not mail related at all. The stray sheep from Catherine was super fucking cool.
Is that?
Have either of you dudes played Catherine?
I have not.
I played the demo.
Lots about it, but have not played it.
Probably 15 years ago, I played the demo.
It's a really good game, but I mean, if you're like, I guess, bashful or whatever, you might not want to play it in front of like your wife or your kids, because sometimes you'll have a titty or two. So yeah, it's most of the time will be like you'll be watching a cutscene. The main character Vincent, he's getting himself into some real shit, cheating on his longtime girlfriend who might be pregnant.
Ooh.
You find out later on. And he's cheating. Well, so his girlfriend's name is Catherine with a K, and then the girl he's cheating on her with is Catherine with a C. And then if you're playing the full body version that came out not too long ago, there's another Catherine with a Q.
Whoa, that's not good.
Yeah. Come on.
That's really stretching
that's in the game, I swear to God.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, it's really story heavy, and there's also these really we'll talk about like why I like the stray sheep a lot. So it's basically when you're not watching a cutscene or playing the really sweet like puzzle tower segments, you'll be in this like you'll be in the bar, the stray sheep with your buddies, and you're talking about your problems and everything that's going on. So it's you and your three buddies, in a booth. So it's you and Johnny, Orlando, and Toby. Then you'll just be chilling there, and then you'll be eating pizza. Each friend has like their own specific kind of drink they like. Like I think Toby gets a beer, one of them gets a sake, and the other one, I think, just has like a shot of whiskey or something dumb. But you can order whatever drink you want, and you can order like a beer, you can order a cocktail, wine, sake. And the game will teach you like it'll say like what the fuck, I forget what it says, but it teaches you like a little fact about whatever like liquor it is that you're drinking, which is
nice.
Did not need to be in the game at all, but it's cool to learn.
Yeah.
It's like, did you know that beers blah 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 and wine blah blah blah? It'll be like, all right, cool, thanks Catherine, cool.
Catherine with a Q, right?
Thanks, Quackthrin.
Yeah, Quackthrin. There you go.
And yeah, you have this whole bar to walk around. Like you can go check out the jukebox, which has a bunch of tunes from other Atlas games. Like there's games from Persona, or not games, songs from like Persona 3, 4, and 5. Some from I guess some of the other Vanillaware games like Dragon's Crown or whatever the fuck. You can also go talk to the Catherine with a Q, plays the piano there in the bar. Sometimes you can go talk to her and all that shit. You can talk to the waitress that works at the Stray Sheep. She's pretty cool. You can talk to the bartender. There's all sorts of like cool little hidden details too. Like at the bar, they have this stack of plushies that has like the three, I guess like the mascot characters from Persona 3, 4, and 5. You have what's the dog's name?
Rufus, Titus.
Yeah,
Fido.
no, Rufus is cool. Fido. I think it's Konamaru. I forget his name. And then there's Teddy and
we were
and
so
Morgana.
close.
Yeah, way off.
Damn.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's this whole ass bar. You can just walk around and kind of do whatever. Like you can go to the bathroom and into a stall and look at your phone, or like turn on some like cheat code or something. Look at like some of the nudes. Well, not nudes, but like half naked photos that Catherine with a C sends you on your phone. That's pretty cool.
Are they written in the phone as Catherine with a C, Catherine with a K?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool little details you can find, and it's just packed with detail, and it's so lively. There's other people that are sitting in different booths that you can also go talk to. Like there's these two
sounds like a nightmare.
old ladies eating pizza sitting in the booth next to you. You can talk to them, and they'll kind of like foreshadow things about the story. Or there's this like older couple in the other booth next to you, and they're enjoying their night. You can talk to them. They'll be like, "Oh, hi, Vincent," or whatever. "Hi." And then that's like it, because they're just trying to enjoy their fucking night, dickhead. And there's people sitting at the bar you can talk to, and they'll be talking about things happening, like, "Oh, there's this string of murders going on, blah, blah, blah."
And you're just looking at the nudes in your phone like, what?
Yeah. Sorry, huh?
I'm scrolling here. Come on.
Hey, I've got titties here. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
Good pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
That's pick with a Q, right?
With
P-I-Q.
Piquet, maybe.
Piquet.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go old school, sort of, a little bit retro, or at least some of these are. I've been told in the past that these are not the favorites. These are sort of the tracks in Mario Kart games that people don't like, but I happen to like them because I think the atmosphere is fun. The music is kind of goofy, and to me, they feel like the most unique ones, or at least they do, especially in the older versions of Mario Kart. But that is any of like the Boo and Ghost Valley stages in Mario Kart. I love those.
Okay.
I think they're cool. And also, it's one of the few, there are some, especially later on, that have these sort of aspects, but it's one of those things where, let's say you have a really crazy first couple of laps and you're bumping into the walls. Those walls disappear. So next time, if you make the same mistake, you're driving yourself off the track and you got to get picked off, right? So, or you could do that and someone else could fall through that crack, right? I like that. I really like it. I find, the simplicity of just like this, brown track with a couple of jumps and the booze popping out at you every once in a while, and that really creepy sort of like screeching sound that is the music. I always kind of like that, even though it's very repetitive in the early versions and stuff. I don't know. I've always enjoyed those stages, especially in like the SNES and Super Mario World and stuff. And I think they really like translated it well into those early versions of it. And then later on in Mario Kart, I would say I really like the Bowser stages, like the Bowser Castle stages. So I don't know. I've been told everyone likes all the other ones, but those are the two styles, at least in the Mario Kart series, that I always enjoy, even though usually they're usually the hardest, or at least some of the most challenging ones. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I agree. Getting those Mario vibes into a kart racing level can't actually be easy, but Nintendo obviously makes it look easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you turn Bowser's Castle, for example, into like a race? Like, why the hell would he have like a racetrack driving around that and through his castles? Like, it doesn't, it's just an excuse to have a level with lava, I guess. But, especially in a game like Mario Kart 8, where like the levels are very inventive and very different, and, recreations of some of the older ones and stuff like that. I don't know. I just find that level of, it's sort of challenge, but even if it's really hard to fall off the stage or really hard to fall in the lava and stuff, just that extra like darker vibe in Mario Kart somehow feels fresh compared to the rest of the game, like the ones that are, you know, on the beach or driving through, you know, regular parts of the Mushroom Kingdom. So yeah, give me the dark shit in Mario Kart. How about that? That's my answer.
The dark shit.
Have you
Give me that good?
Have you seen someone is making Bloodborne Kart?
What?
I fucking saw
No.
that. Yep.
They made a PS1 remake of Bloodborne, and now after that they're using the assets to make it into Bloodborne Kart. The trailer just came out like last week.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
That
Those
seems
games
right up your alley.
That would be give me the dark. Is there going to be any kind of like Bloodborne mechanics in there? Like, what's the deal?
I assume so. They have Bloodborne weapons.
Amazing. Yeah, that's like that's fun. Like I think it's because it's the very like with these stages that I mentioned. I think it's because it's so different from the rest of the games.
Yep.
And they're still fun, you know. Like I can't remember what they're called. I mean, it might just be called Bowser's Castle, one of the original tracks in Mario Kart 8, which you know, I haven't played in a couple of years at this point, but like, of course I can't remember it. That game's been out for fucking like 25 years at this point. So it's just they don't just recreate like, hey, let's just drive in a circle around a castle and through a castle. You're going up ramps and you're going sideways and you're upside down and the lava's coming down on you instead of up because you're upside down. Like all those little things. It's just they try to do something different, and then all the lights are out. You know, you're not in happy-go-lucky Mario Land anymore, Mushroom Kingdom anymore. So it's just I like having something a little different, and also I guess I'm a hipster in a way because I like the stuff that other people don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
all
great.
hipsters here.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Should we do an ad break, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, close your eyes, cover your ears.
Will do.
We'll be right back.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Hey, what's up, Super Potters? Tommy here. I just want to give a big shout out to our patrons. They are all wonderful, stand-up fellows. Thank you, Adam, Jameson, Jared, and a novel console for your support. It genuinely means the world to Aaron and I to have such handsome, talented patrons. And I truly believe the universe will reward you in some karmic way for being a patron to SuperPod Saga. Thank you.
I wanna take you for a ride.
It's really important to stay hydrated. They say to drink 8 to 10 cups of water per day to stay properly hydrated, but sometimes that can be difficult to do and completely inconvenient, and most of us don't feel like carrying a gallon of water with us at all times. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night out, or on long flights. Man, in Iowa, the summers can be brutal. 90 degrees and tons of humidity, and that just saps the energy and water right out of your system within just a few minutes. Luckily, Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. It's very important to replace those electrolytes, you know? And I just love how quick and easy it is to use Liquid IV. You just get one packet and a bottle of water, and you just pour that packet into the bottle of water, shake the heck out of it, and bam, you are good to go. Since using Liquid IV, I've felt way more alert, active, and just plain better versus drinking water alone. My favorite flavors to go to are the Yuzu Pineapple Energy Multiplier and the Tropical Punch Hydration Multiplier. I can't get enough of those ones. And what makes them even better is, like I mentioned earlier, they're packed with 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. And again, 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. And they're non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy, which is just great. So you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code SuperPodSaga at checkout. That's 20% off anything when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code SuperPodSaga, SuperPodSaga at liquidiv.com. You have a great one, superstars.
I wanna take you for a ride.
Hey there, Super Potters. You may be wondering how Aaron and I, bumbling idiots that we are, managed to record, edit, and distribute our world-class podcast, the SuperPod Saga. The answer, dear listeners, is Zencastr. Let me tell you more. It is so easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen, knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. It's an all-in-one service! If you have thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute it to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SuperPodSaga and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
Wanna take you for a ride?
If you're a fan of coffee and you're looking for something different, I think we've got just the thing for you. That's Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee is not your usual coffee company. Of course, it's all sugar-free, gluten-free, all that stuff because it's just coffee, nothing added to it. But they roast each batch of coffee beans to your order, and they've got just a bazillion different flavors to choose from. They've got your usual French vanilla, salted caramel, they've got Irish cream, of course they've got decaf, single origin coffees like Kenya, Guatemala, stuff like that, even what they call high voltage, which is extra strength, extra caffeine, but they have all sorts of other awesome kind of out of the box flavors. They've got ones like cotton candy, maple bacon, and even mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they're always coming up with new crossover flavors, like they've done a bunch for Nightmare Before Christmas, Indiana Jones, even Spider-Man, of all things. And they're also coming up with new seasonal flavors all the time. If this sounds right up your alley, feel free to use the link in our episode description and use coupon code SuperPodSaga at checkout to get 20% off your order. That's SuperPodSaga at checkout to get 20% off your order. And if you're not just in the market for coffee, you can also get some sweet mugs. They've got lots of cool shirts. They've got all sorts of different brewing equipment like French presses, stuff like that. Just head on over to bonescoffee.com or again, use the link in our episode description and get 20% off. Get yourself a new interesting flavor and spice up your morning routine with Bones Coffee. I really hope you enjoy. I'm a really big fan of it, and I hope you find one that really hooks you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.
Wanna take you for a ride?
Okay, Dave, open them.
I'm back. Okay. Oh, we're back? Okay. All right. Okay.
No, we're doing the ad break right now. I don't think we did this when I was just soloing, but hey Tommy, do you have a yard?
I do.
Front or back?
Yeah, both.
Front and back
Both.
or side? I mean,
Front
okay,
and back.
okay. Side
No.
too. Oh, okay. Well, do you ever need a hole?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me introduce you to the world's, I guess, only premier hole digging service. It's Hole Bros. Hey, Hole Bros. If you need, due to time constraints, budgetary constraints, any kind of constraint you can think of, you can only dig one single hole in your yard per visit per day. So, yeah, whether you need a small hole, medium-sized hole, a big hole, a bigger hole, Hole Bros, hey, they're there for you. They've got all the equipment they need when they show up. You just tell them, hey dog, dig there, and they'll dig a single hole. They'll be like, how big? You say this big, and you use your arms to like show them how big, and they'll be like, you got it, buddy. Tommy, hey, what's your experience been like with Hole Bros?
So whenever I go into a body of water, I always go to the part that is just shallow enough that I can dig with my arms, so I can dig a hole without my head going under the water. They've been a real help with digging more of those holes when I go into a body of water, and I really appreciate that. It's my favorite thing is to like dig the hole and then stand up and wave at my wife and be like, hey, look at this. And then I start walking like normal, and then I fall into the hole like a couple feet. Oh, it's just the best.
She's like screaming in horror. Oh my God, Tommy! And you're just like, this bitch. No. Hey, Dave, what's your experience been like with hole bros?
You know what? I also have a yard that has a very small front and a decent sized back, and sometimes I want to make those sides a little bit even. So I will ask to, let's even things out a little bit. Let's take a little bit from the back, put a little on the front, party in the back, party in the front, kind of thing, and and things feel a little bit more even every once in a while. And then after a week, when I get bored, I ask them to even it out again and work on making things. Take that hole that we previously dug and put it in a different spot of the front yard, So my wife's not too happy about the fact that we have holes in different places, but and I don't seem to fill them. I just sort of keep like asking them to dig more. But maybe one day I'll be able to create a super cool, underground passage from the backyard to the front yard, and now I can just spend all my time outdoors and underground. It's cool. It's cool. They won't dig the tunnel. I will, but at least the hole will get that project started. So that's always
that's
fun.
true.
Yeah,
that's true. At least you get to the underground part, and then it's all up to you at that
point. Exactly. And I did use my arms also with the depth as well. I sort of went from reach for the sky and then touch the ground. It was like that. And they said, yeah, of course, no problem, done. Boom. It was great.
That's right, folks. You heard it here. Whether you need a small hole, do you need a small hole in the front of your yard? Hole bros will dig it. Do you need a medium-sized hole for God knows what? Hey, hole bros will dig it. Do you need a hole for a body for whatever reason? They won't question it. Hole bros, baby. It's call 1-800-420-HOLE. That's right, 1-800-420-HOLE. HOLE. I don't know what that would be on a keypad. Figure it out for yourself. 1-800-420-HOLE. Thanks, hole bros.
Thanks.
I wanna take you for a ride.
We're back.
Okay, on the count of
No, we're not back.
On count of three, we'll say it. We'll all say it at the same time. We'll say, "And we're back." Everybody ready?
We're gonna say, "And we're back."
Yep, on the count of three.
Alrighty.
1, 2, 3,
And
we're back.
Welcome back.
Yes,
love it.
To the most perfect podcast ever created. We're talking about locations and games. And
Die Hard, the board game.
Die Hard, we're the Die Hard, the board game of podcasts. I want to talk about something in a totally different vein than the dark, spooky Mario Kart stuff. I really enjoyed the island in The Witness. It's
ooh,
yeah, it's fun to explore. It's got a bunch of bright colors, which is good for my happy part of my brain. But when you think about The Witness, the gameplay in The Witness, it is literally just drawing lines on a tablet. That is all you do for 10 hours is you go to a tablet and you draw a line on it. And you go to another tablet and draw lines on it. So how do you make anything else about the game fun to do, I guess is the question. They did a great job in The Witness with just how the island is set up. Like as soon as you exit the tutorial place, everywhere you look is like a different looking environment or a different looking building that you're like, I gotta go explore that. And then you go up to that place and you're like, oh, there's more panels here for me to draw, and this is exactly what I wanted. And how those panels take you further than you could ever imagine on the surface of the island is super fun. Like the first time I went to a desert area and started drawing on the panels, and it like opened a door, and then I went underground and had a whole exploration thing with that. I was like, oh, this is cool. Or you go through some forest where you hear bird sounds and all birds and stuff, and then the puzzles incorporate those bird sounds into the lines you draw.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my god.
It's or you go into a building that has vines everywhere, and you need to adjust how you're looking through the slots in the wall so that the vines line up for you to draw those lines. It's just picture perfect in how you could take a gameplay mechanic that is just drawing lines on a tablet and giving you so many different places to explore. Or like when you finish an area, this box comes up from the sky and shoots a laser to the top of a mountain. And you're like, I gotta go see what's on that mountain. What's this laser?
I got
Yeah,
to
I gotta
know.
know. When you get up there and there's like these statues holding a box, and you're like, this is weird. And you can draw on the box. I'm like, okay, love it.
Love it. Love it or list it. Definitely not going to list it. Next, speaking of listing things, up next on my list. What a
Nice.
fucking stupid.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
no.
You
Don't
know what?
love me. That's awful.
Usually the best transitions and the smoothest ones are the ones that you point out, and that was awesome. So I'm going to point it out.
Oh man. Okay. Hang on. I'm typing a thing. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. My next one. I just replaced one because I just thought of this next one. Isle Delfino from Super Mario Sunshine is super fucking cool.
Nice.
For one, I'm a really fucking big fan of games that really make use of cohesion. No matter what part of the island you're on, in any level, you can just look out in the distance and see other parts from other parts of the island. Like no matter where you are, you can see Corona Mountain right there, smoking and shit. You could be over in fucking the harbor or whatever the fuck it's called, and you can see Pinna Park. Like you can see the fucking Ferris wheel and like the roller coaster and shit like that. You could just be in Delfino Plaza and you can see the airstrip from right there. There's just little bits and pieces that you can pick out if you just look out in the distance from like no matter where you are on the island, and that's super cool. But then Delfino Plaza on its own is super cool. It's like the perfect little, I guess, hub or like, I guess, practice area for you to practice Mario's moves and shit on. All sorts of cool collectibles and stuff, and like the little like news updates it gives you on the bottom of the screen will be like blah, 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 and then it'll be like Yoshi eggs have taken over the fucking world or something. Shoot them with water and juice, and then you just jump around and jump on people's heads over and over and over until they get really mad. That's about it. Isle Delfino. It's really, really cool.
That's the one mainline Mario game I don't think I've played a single second of.
Tommy.
Well, I will say that I'm a little bit. I've played several seconds of it, but I have only played it. In
several.
Yeah, several. I've only played it like in chunks, sort of like when you watch a movie or TV show in pieces, and you can kind of get the gist of it. I have definitely not fully experienced that game, but I don't feel like I've given it a fair shake because of the way that I've played it.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, it's I guess if I had to rank like the big Mario games, like I guess like the 3D ones, like Mario 64, this one, Odyssey, and all those, like this one would probably be like it's definitely not the best 3D Mario game. Sometimes it is broken and janky, but at least everything looks good and sounds good. Like the music is really good. No, it's worth playing just to like hop around and in different locations and to just to play it
and do something very different with that franchise, right? I mean, like that's
with the little flood.
Yeah, that's I gotta. I mean, I don't have any way to necessarily legally play it at the moment, but it's definitely a game that I want to go back to, especially after playing the most recent Mario, which also does a lot of newer, unique stuff, which is awesome. So, I guess next is me. Oh boy, list.
Yeah, speaking of awesome stuff.
This choice is going to be a little bit more about sort of maybe because the whole game itself, but I guess because of what it means and how deep the game is, surprisingly, is Celeste Mountain. I don't know if you guys have played Celeste. Yeah, so Celeste is a pretty special game. It's the gameplay itself is not for everybody, which I completely understand. It's very, Twitch based and hand-eye coordination, all that kind of stuff. I love those kinds of games. I sort of got more and more into them within the last decade, I think, or maybe even like 6 or 7 years or something. And this is the one that always stands out because the gameplay is so tight and so cool, but it's really the story that it tells that makes Celeste Mountain the location special because, it's really about growing as a person and struggling with mental health and battling your inner demons very clearly, and interacting with other people in really cool and interesting ways. And the mountain is really just, a metaphor, but it is actually a physical mountain in some ways as well. And I just think Celeste is a special game. And even if that kind of gameplay of really sort of tough platforming mechanics is not your thing, I don't know if it would hit in the same way if you watched, a playthrough of this game and the story and all that, because I feel like there's something about that really high difficulty in games like this, that when those story moments happen, when you're talking on the phone, or when like the end of the game comes, like those moments, those story beat moments in the game, like I feel like they're extra special because of that, because of the struggle that you've gone through, probably dying, 15 times just to get through one screen. And that's part of the experience. That's why I think this game is so well crafted. And I think Celeste Mountain itself is really just like a setting for the overall feel and message of the game and everything. And again, I just this is a game I think about often and think about replaying often. One, because I just love it. I think it's a fantastically made game, but the music is great. It looks awesome. The story's great. And I just, in some ways, want to put myself through that again for some crazy reason. But Celeste Mountain is for sure on my list, for sure.
That's a good one. That's a great one, I would say.
That's one that both Tommy and I have beaten.
Yeah.
One of the rare ones that we both beaten.
Nice.
That list might be only like 5 games long.
And this is one of them.
Yeah. Speaking of games that I play that Aaron doesn't, the Cosmodrome Old Russia area in the first Destiny game is what I want to talk about. Because
wait, I've played the first Destiny.
No, you haven't.
Okay. Sorry, Chef.
Sorry.
It's the first big open area you get to explore in the first Destiny, which was like 8 years ago now. Holy cow, where did time go?
Jeez.
But just walking out from you start off in like you have to go through the wall, and then you got to fight some aliens in the wall, and you go outside the wall to the old Russia, the Cosmodrome, and it's a bunch of it's where Russia's space program used to be. So there's a bunch of rusted rockets all over the place, and there's aliens everywhere fighting amongst them. But like, it's just wild how much there is to actually explore in this place. They made it so it's a big loop, so you can go just around in a circle to everywhere. But every story mission, every strike mission branches off from those, so it just feels like an actual world to explore, which is really amazing 8 years ago. Because back then, like, they went from Halo to Destiny, didn't they? Because Halo was story-based missions, and here they're like, no, it's open. You can go wherever. And it really felt like you could. And seeing all the old Russian broken down rockets everywhere, and the aliens going through them, and seeing the aliens fighting each other, finding all the hidden places to explore. It was just such a fun looking environment to get lost in and just spend time in. Like, I couldn't wait to get home and just run through everything to find resources to collect. I knew that place like the back of my hand.
That's super cool.
And now Destiny is a mess. A mess, I say.
I played so much of the first game, and ironically, like, so little of the second game. The first game had, a lot of really cool small details, like in the what's the main, like, the hub place, like
the tower.
Tower.
Yeah, the tower. Is it really just called the tower?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the tower. They were just like, what was it? There was that one place for like the Crucible, or that like limited time space you could go to that like usually is blocked off by like boxes and a door. I don't know. I don't remember. Right. It's cool. It's cool.
They had cool stuff that you could explore the tower for a long time, and eventually they were like, a new guy's here, and he just went and opened that door, and you can go in there now. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
and then Zur is there, and then there's like 80 people around Zur, and he's like, whoa, hold on.
Everybody wants a piece of Zur.
I'll never forget I was fighting aliens on the edge of a thing, and something knocked me into the air, and I flew off of what I thought was going to be like a cliff. I was like, okay, I'm going to die. And I landed on a walkway, and I was like, excuse me? And I looked to the left and see that it goes up to the area I was in, but no one would ever see that because it's on the very edge. So I followed it, and I went into an underground cave. And like, as soon as I walk in, my light lights up, and there's like a hive knight in there, and his level just says 3 question marks, and he just destroys me. And I'm like, what was that? It's not like a part of any mission or anything. It's just something you can stumble onto.
Nice.
Damn it. That game is so good. All the little hidden small secrets, and
Bungie, man. Bungie.
I miss that. Well, speaking of games that make you go, my next one is I really love Treno in Final Fantasy IX. It's first off, holy shit, that like I guess like the town, the song for the town, where it's like it's just all piano. It's like dun 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 dun. It's got like a really really jazzy, like casino-y kind of feel. No, I don't know if you'd call it casino-y. I don't know what the right word would be for it. I'm really bad with music. It's Treno is there's so much to this fucking town. Like there's the Coliseum, or not the Coliseum, I guess. Like there's a weapon shop where you can go to like fight monsters, or you can go to the card tournament if you want to, and beat people up with cards because that's really fun. You can go to the auction house and win some super rare items that there's a couple that you can't get anywhere else, like the dark matter. Like you can literally only get the dark matter to summon Odin from there. There's all sorts of cool little spots too. Like there's I can't think of it off the top of my head. No, there's just it's a really cool town to just wander around, and again, it feels cohesive because you can see like because in those or early final, well, not early Final Fantasy, the PS1 Final Fantasy games, they used a lot of like what's the word for it? Like I guess like
graphics,
angle. No, like different camera angles.
fixed camera.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah,
God
yeah. That's
damn it.
I was like, I know this. It's not that complicated. I know it, and then there it was.
Yeah, they use a lot of fixed camera angles for everything. So like you'll be up on the outer walkway of the town, and you can see down to where the card tournament place is, or you can see up at like the tower that you don't do anything at, and it's just there's a lot of really cool locations in Final Fantasy. That's my favorite game of all time. If you haven't heard me say it on this podcast already, you'll hear it right now. It's my favorite game of all time. I almost picked Condepeity because Zidane and Dagger almost get married there, but
Do they really?
yeah, just because of the it was something to do with the goblin dudes that live there. They were like, hey, we need someone to get married so we can get access to
that's
this one
right.
place, and then yeah. No, Treno's cool, and the song for Treno is really cool, and it just feels like an old timey, like I guess what's the fuck? I cannot. I just can't think of the word to use to describe it. Just look up Treno Final Fantasy 9 and then take a look, and it's good. Sorry, and I'm so terrible with words, everybody.
No, you're good. I agree, though. That was one of the most memorable places in my single playthrough of Final Fantasy 9 that I never completed.
Again,
Yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat with you there.
The only negative I have to say is like they locked the story behind you actually doing like that card game tournament, and I had completely avoided doing anything with the cards up to that point. And so it's like you have to
Why?
enter this tournament and win, and I'm like, uh-oh.
You love card games. Why did you skip the?
Because the game's already long enough as it is. I don't need to take time out of to play cards.
Well, yeah, it's an RPG, Tommy. It's going to be.
I have limited time.
Oh, okay.
I'm a very busy man. I have appointments.
Can't you tell?
I have many leather-bound books.
Amazing.
Take us home, Dave. You get the last say.
Okay, I got the last one. Now, since this is the last one, this is gonna be I'm gonna let you guys pick because I have two that I want to choose from and talk about, but it's really hard for me to narrow down which one I should talk about. So I'll sort of give a brief, vague description of each. One of them is a multiplayer map for a game, and the other one is an area from my favorite game of all time. I am more than happy to talk about.
Is it Banjo-Kazooie?
Multiplayer map.
Multiplayer map. It is not Banjo-Kazooie. It is Donkey Kong Country 2 is my favorite game of all time.
Damn.
Okay. So multiplayer map. That's cool. Okay, we'll go with that. All right. So speaking of Bungie, by the way, how about Blood Gulch from the first Halo?
Yeah.
Because that is similar how I had a bit of a story to tell with the AC maps and recreation of the world and all that stuff. Blood Gulch, more specifically, but just Halo in general. I don't know what my buddy's parents were thinking, but every once in a while we would have, I want to say like 10 of us in their basement playing Halo on multiple TVs and sort of like, what an old school LAN party would be. I can't remember if you could play it with 8 players or 12 on the original Halo. I think it was 8, but we would find ways to kind of, make a mini tournament out of this and play this game for just hours.
Yep.
And it was just incredible. And just that map is, I think, was a lot of the go-to, especially if you had a larger group of people. And, it's really old school, at least somewhat old school, first person shooter on original Xbox. And it's just like a map that everyone I think had the go-to because it's open enough that you can snipe people from the other side of the map, and you can basically own everybody with the pistol. You can add just rockets. You can put in the just warthogs. You can do all these different things with it. And I think Blood Gulch is the one that, if anyone doesn't know the name offhand, it's just a big desert area with 2 bases, I guess, on each side, and then a couple of paths on the right and left side of like the mountains that surround the map itself. And it's just like a playground to do silly things if you wanted to just be silly, or a playground to just go nuts with a bunch of friends and just have like that dual stick early FPS style that is now insanely common and was once this game came out. So I just think it's like a revolutionary multiplayer experience for me. And this map, I think, always stands out above the rest. So I got to go with that. There's a bunch of different maps on Halo 1 and 2 that, I think I could go to, but that's the one that, like, we would still, even when Halo 2 came out, we would still be like, you know what? Yeah, this is fun. You guys want to play Blood Gulch? And then we would just put the original Halo in and play that. Even if the mechanics weren't as sharp as what they were in the sequels. Like, it was like, screw it. I just want to own everybody with the pistol. I want to hit you with one shot headshot with the pistol while you're aiming a rocket at me. That's what I want to do. And just a ton of fun, man. Like, I just, those days and eat, like, I mean it. Like, we would show up at 3:00 in the afternoon at this guy's house. We would be there and our friends, and then his older brother and his buddies would be there. And it would just be, let's be honest, it would just be like a shit show of teenagers screaming and yelling for like 12 hours. And it was the best. It was the best. So it's a little bit of a nostalgia pull, but yeah, that's where I got to go with that.
No, I agree. Before I say my story, do you remember if you could you go into those buildings, or were they just decorative?
No, you could go into them. They were very simple. I think you could go down like a ramp from the roof, and then one door or 2 doors on the floor level of each. They were laid out the exact same way, but I think if you did like capture the flag was in there, and then like the rocket would appear like in the middle of the stage. That's kind of how I remember the layout being.
Then my memory is correct, because I had that experience with just a bunch of friends hanging out and playing Halo. Nice. And it was the first time I had played with the right stick controlling the camera. And I could not do it. I could not figure it out. I hated it. So I would just go down the stairs and aim my gun at the doorway and wait for someone to come in and then blast them.
Oh, you're the camper.
That was I learned to camp before I learned to shoot. Before I learned to aim.
Jesus Christ.
You set up a little campfire and have your marshmallows and stuff. Oh, there's a person. Bang.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that's the thing about stages like that. Like, they have restrictive areas like those bases. Yeah, they were simple layouts, but you had that, and then everything else was open. And somehow, like, 8 people on that map was just enough to get craziness done. And just go wild with it. So I think it's something special. I mean, at this point, it's over 20 years old, which is just wild to me. But I remember those days like they were yesterday. So it's awesome.
Good pick.
Nice. Great pick.
And that's it. Those are the only picks. Every other game location is bad. And
definitively, yeah.
Definitively.
Yep.
But yeah, if you disagree with us, reach out to us on Twitter. Send us an email at superpodsaga@gmail.com. Join our Discord.
No one's going to email us, Tommy.
They might. Where can people find if they want more Dave goodness?
The Dave goodness. Wow. I mean, I don't know if I'm that good, but remember 64 show across social media. Like I said earlier, anything but Facebook essentially is where I try to keep active. It's really hard to keep up with stuff. Like, there's so much shit to do, man. But I love it. I love interacting with people, hearing from people, and, putting out the goofy stuff that I do. So, remember 64 show across social media, and remember 64 is the podcast.
Yeah.
And what about us, Aaron? What about us?
If they need more creamy, delicious SuperPod Saga goodness, superpodsaga.com. Episodes, blog, reviews, social support, Patreon, bonus episodes, early access, superpodsaga.com.
Excellent. And what are we going to talk about next week, Aaron? Dave won't get to take part.
Aww.
Sorry, Dave.
Aww.
We're going to talk about our favorite unlockables in video games.
That's such a good pick.
Ooh, I like it.
Did you just slap your legs?
No, I knocked my phone off the table because I got so excited.
It's not the phone's fault. Jeez.
God damn it, that's such a good fucking pick.
God damn it, phone!
So look forward to that in our next episode. Thank you for listening today. Thank you, Dave, for joining us. Thank you, Aaron, for also being here.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
Dave, say bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Okay, bye.